The 30th of April is the 66th day of the heroic resistance of Ukrainians against the Russian occupiers. The Russian opened fire on 2 evacuation buses in the Luhansk region. Volunteers were taking humanitarian aid to the town of Popasna, and on their way back were supposed to take out local residents. According to the head of the Luhansk Regional Military Administration, Sergei Gaidai, people disappeared from one of the buses and there were traces of blood inside.
Отправляли туда уже несколько групп, значит, автобус увидели, автобус расстрелянный, действительно, внутри автобуса кровь, но тел нет.
One of the passengers could get away and get in touch. He said, a hostile group of saboteurs approached them and opened fire with a grenade launcher. The destiny of other volunteers is unknown. There was no information about the second bus either. These were the regular humanitarian bus routes. On the bus, it was written in big letters that it was a school bus. The evacuation from Popasna stopped. Meanwhile, in the Odessa region, the enemy shelled the airport. It is no longer possible to use the runway. This was reported by Maxim Barchenko, the head of the Odessa Regional State Administration.
Сьогодні ворог наніс ракетний удар з території тимчасово окупованого Криму береговим ракетним комплексом «Бастіон». Злітно-посадочна смуга аеропорту Одеси зазнала руйнації. Дякувати Богу, ніхто не постраждав.
And in Kharkov, the Russian army shelled residential areas again. 2 ninth-floor apartment buildings caught fire. 1 man was hospitalized. The hospital building was also damaged. There were no casualties. The city of Dobropilya was shelled in the Donetsk region. According to the head of the Donetsk Regional Military Administration, Pavla Kirilenko, 7 people were injured. Of these, 3 were children. The youngest are only 5 years old. Another burial of civilians was found in the Kiev region. The bodies of 3 murdered men were found in the forest near Bucha, where the Russian military had set up their positions. This was announced by the head of the police of the Kiev region, Andriy Nebitov.
Явно вони закатовані, на жаль, мають кожна кінцівка тіла кульове наскрізне поранення. Бачимо, що наостанок їм стріляли кожному вуха, у кожного на голові була ганчірка, скотч, зав'язані очі, зав'язані руки позаду.
It was impossible to recognize the bodies of those killed. Their faces were disfigured by the consequences of torture. Investigators examined a total of 1,202 bodies of civilians murdered by the Russian occupants in the Kiev region. Another war crime resorted to by the enemy in occupied Mariupol is the murder and torture of Ukrainian prisoners. This was reported by VR Commissioner for Human Rights Lyudmila Denisova. One of the men who was captured on the April 19th or 20th was brutally beaten by the racist, and a photo confirmation of their actions was sent yesterday to the military man's mother. He had previously appeared in a video of Russian propagandists. New shocking footage from Mariupol, a city that has been heroically holding out under relentless Russian army shelling for 2 months. An enemy tank fires at point-blank range at a house where 16 people were hiding in the basement. The occupants take the survivors out, place them on their knees, and then lead them somewhere, pushing them. Their further fate is unknown. The video and all the details were published by the Azov regiment holding the defense of Mariupol. And in the surviving abandoned houses, the occupants are settling unknown people. The order to move the strangers in is issued by the so-called village council. No belongings are given to the house owners. And the Mariupol residents themselves are sent by the Russian military to filtration camps before being deported to the Russian Federation. Peaceful people are mocked there. They throw civil servants behind bars and punish their relatives. Men are forced to have their tattoos removed from their skin. About this said the mayor of Mariupol, Vadim Boychenko. If the tattoos seem to them to be similar, as they believe nationalist symbols, they give the guy a pebble and say erase. He erases those tattoos from his skin and the Russians are laughing. This is happening in Mariupol in the 21st century. But there is good news. 20 civilians, women and children were able to be evacuated from the territory of Azovstal. This was reported by the deputy commander of the Azov regiment, Captain Svetoslav Palamar.
Ми надіємося, що ті люди поїдуть в напрямку домовленому, а саме Запоріжжя, на підконтрольну Україні територію.
The military continues to pull victims out of the rubble of the plant. There are now more than 600 wounded in the shelter of the Azovstal plant. Satellites have recorded the complete destruction of the plant. Almost all the buildings are in ruins. Hollywood actress and UN Goodwill Ambassador Angelina Jolie arrived in Ukraine. The visit was unannounced and she was spotted by journalists in a cafe in Lviv. As UN official Matt Salmatras told the Canadian media, Angelina went to Ukraine on her own initiative. The star visited children affected by the airstrike on the train station in Kramatorsk. She met passengers of the evacuation train from Pokrovsk, a city in Lugansk region, which suffered from the attack of the Russian occupiers. And when an air raid alarm sounded in the city, the actress, along with local residents, fled to shelter from the threat of missile attack. Since the beginning of the large-scale Russian invasion, Angelina Jolie has expressed support for Ukrainians who have been forced from their homes because of the war. Earlier this month, she visited a hospital in Italy where Ukrainians are being treated.
Where can you find a safe place if your city is under siege? Is it an usual residential building? No. In hospitals or schools?
Третья больница, Мариуполь. Роддом.
No. In a theater, the heart of your city. Far away from any military objects. Yes, that's a good idea. Is there any other way we could warn Russian pilots about kids hiding in the theater? Yes, capital letters, in Russian. That way we will definitely be safe. But only if murdering our children isn't their goal.